Well, hello everybody. I'm BDIV, aka the head honcho, and welcome to BDIV and the Boys, the talk show where we cover all types of sports. We got hockey, we got football, we got basketball, we even got soccer, and today we're even going to talk about the WWE. Um, so some things I want to just mention real quick. Oh, yeah, right. If you want to help us out, today I thought we had a ton of people coming on the show. Some stuff happened, some stuff came up. But please still email me. I've already got a few requests from some people. That'll be at bdivatb@gmail.com. You can also DM me on Instagram. Not even just to come on the show, but if you have topic ideas, that would be great as well. Just in case, or I just thought I'd let you know right before we were about to start, I had a little bit of tech issues, a little bit laggy. So if you see some of that stuff happen there, I apologize. As you can see, I upgraded the lighting. I should look a lot better now. Today I'm wearing my favorite hoodie. I thought I'd wear my nice little Polo Ralph Floral Polo Ren hoodie, and my Bubba Gump hat, which I think is just going to be starting to be a more of a ritual thing now. So let me give you the rundown real quick. We're going to start off with NFL free agency. A ton of stuff happened. Obviously, the J.J. Watt thing happened, but a lot of stuff happened that you probably didn't know about. We're going to cover that all today. Randy Orton and Soldier Boy beef? Like what? We're gonna cover that today. For those of you who didn't know about that, I didn't know about it until this morning. To be honest with you, Luka Doncic rookie card sells for a crazy price. A literal, not a virtual card like they've been going around now, like a literal trading card went for a crazy amount. We'll get into that. Atlanta Hawks coach got fired today, or excuse me, yesterday, after a bad start along with some other stuff as well. We will be covering Paul Pogba and the possibility of him maybe leaving Manchester United, which is absolutely insane. He's obviously played for some different clubs here and there. We're going to be talking about that. And finally, we're going to be covering Sidney Crosby, who was put on the COVID reserve list today. So the first thing I want to talk about, what's the first thing I want to talk about? Let's start with the Paul Pogba incident. So Paul Pogba, um, who is a very good player, has been battling injury most of the Premier Premier League season. He expressed, and his agent expressed that in the near future he would leave the squad for free if he isn't sold in the summer transfer window. Now, again, I don't know much about soccer, but what I do know, or at least what I believe, is I'm pretty sure summer transfer. I think that's kind of like the free agency of soccer. So once the season ends, you have that type of deal. Like I mentioned, he's battling a long-term injury, a thigh injury for that matter, and he isn't expected to make the trip to Crystal Palace this weekend in London. A note from his manager: he's feeling better. He hasn't been training with the team yet, so he's definitely not traveling to London. That'd be the Crystal Palace. Um, the team, although they haven't had Pogba, they get a guy back, Edison. Yeah, Edison again, sorry guys, these are all new players for me. Cavini, back in the lineup. He's also missed 3 straight games for the club. But he is expected and is expected to return to the Crystal Palace in London this weekend. So just some stats for him and Pogba. And Cav- Cavini, sorry, in his in his 8 starts this season, he's recorded 6 goals on 24 shots and 2 assists. Not too bad. In 8 games, that's pretty darn good. Even putting that in like hockey terms, I guess. Um, but when those two, if both of those two other play, whether one of them do, one of them don't, Pogba and Cavani, the team looks to lead on a guy who's been pretty consistent all season, and Bruno Fernandez. Fernandez has 26 points in the Premier League, tallying up 15 goals and 11 assists on 25 starts. So again, there's that consistency there for Manchester United. So I'm gonna bring in Fraz here. Fraz, what's up?
What's going on, Bill? How you doing?
I'm doing good. So here's the thing. So again, we're pretty cultured when it comes to the sports world. Haven't followed soccer much, but Fraz, we mentioned that he has a long-term thigh injury. Do you think that this is kind of like a holdout gimmick per se? Do you think he's doing? You think this injury has come up? It's not coincidental. He's doing it on purpose.
I'm not sure, Billy. I think Paul Pogba is a great player, and he's been my favorite soccer player, ever since Messi and stuff. But he's a good veteran. I mean, not that old, but still got some few years. And I think if he leaves Manchester United, he can bring a lot of talent and knowledge to another team, and I think that'd be good for Paul Pogba.
Yeah, Paul Pogba again, great player. The games that he has played, he's only had 3 goals in the Premier League this season. Still a great player. If he does leave, I mean, this is a big hurt. From what I know, Pogba's role for Manchester United, he's a midfielder. So midfielders score a lot, right? But the thing is that I believe, like from what I've seen, like his stats from previous years, Pogba can score. There's no doubt about it. But he can move the ball really well, and he's more of that pass first guy. So I think definitely Pogba would help out or would hurt Manchester United, especially like what you gonna call it, Cavani, whatever his name is. He's expected to return for this weekend in London. He's not like for sure returning. We haven't gotten the clear go ahead yet. So yeah, that's very important to know. Let's move on to our next topic. Sorry, I just figured we touched base on soccer real quick. The next thing I want to talk about. What's the next thing I want to talk about? Let's talk about Sidney Crosby next. Sidney Crosby was put on the reserve list for the Penguins. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Sidney Crosby, according to Coach Sullivan of the Penguins, he was put on the team's reserve list and will most likely not play in the team's 3-game series against Philly. There are also multiple reports that Crosby actually tested positive for COVID. However, that hasn't been confirmed by the team or staff yet. This comes at a very bad time. 2 reasons. The Pens are 2 points behind Philly right now, and a win in the 3-game series, or a 2-3, a 2-1 series, a 3-0 series, they have to win the series. That could bump them ahead of Philly in the standings. And in the first 20 games in the season, Crosby's been playing outstanding. He has 18 points in 20 games. Um, Fraz, how much of a playmaker is this that Crosby isn't going to be in the starting lineup for the Penguins these next 3 games?
Yeah, this is definitely going to affect them, Billy. As you said, they lost 2 games to the Flyers at the beginning of the season, and COVID's not a good thing to have, but it's good that Crosby can get through this and get healthy as soon as possible. So we can have him for the playoffs. I think there's an 8-month period that you can't get COVID technically. So as long as we can have him for the long run after this will be good.
Yeah, and another thing, let me get that off my screen. Stupid, my computer is full of viruses. An important thing to know: there was some things that Crosby. Oh, jeez, is my internet cutting out?
You're good.
Fraz, can you
You're
hear
good.
me?
Yeah,
Oh,
keep
okay.
going.
Um, so there was some rumors that Crosby could be traded this offseason. He actually in a press conference before they had told him that he had COVID, he shut all this down. Said he wanted to retire as a Penguin. I definitely would. If you go to a different team, whether it's powerhouse or not, that would definitely hurt your legacy. Uh, maybe not. Maybe he does. Not saying he does better because Crosby definitely like top 10, 15 players to ever play the game in Pittsburgh. But that could possibly hurt his legacy, at least for the Pittsburgh side of things. Um, so yeah, just some stats to know about Crosby. He was the 2005 first overall pick, and it was clearly worth it. In his 1,004 games played, Crosby has accumulated over 1,200 points. So for those of you who don't know any hockey, points is goals and assists combined, or pass to assist. You get a point for every time you do that. But also you can lose. Can you? I don't know if you can lose points or not. There's a plus minus column, and that's where you turnovers, errors, stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, and he's 40 goals away from his 500 mark. Actually, their first game against Philly, the Flyers will be tonight for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Again, very important game for the Penguins. This is a very tight race from what I saw. The Penguins are, I think they're one game behind Philly, but the Capitals are in first place, and they're actually only like 2 games behind them. So again, this is a big game for the Penguins. Let's move on. I guess we'll move on here. Let's talk about let's talk about Randy Orton and Soldier Boy. This was a weird feud. Didn't really expect it to happen, of all people. So let me give you the little let me give you a scoop on this. So although it might not seem like it, the WWE is still doing well despite restrictions um, to in-person attendance. And with that being said, there are many critics from home, and one of them was, of course, Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy, um, pretty popular rapper back in 2005, crank that type deal. Um, he said in a tweet, it's a very dumb tweet, very bland tweet as well. He says that the rap game is faker than the WWE. First of all, I'd like to mention Mr. Soldier Boy that is very bad grammar. It would be the rap game is more fake than WWE, but that's not the point. Um, so not was it not? Excuse me. It was not only Randy Orton who chimed in on this. There's another wrestler by the name T Bar. He fired back at Randy Orton, or excuse me, Soldier Boy. He's saying he said in a tweet, maybe you should stick to super soaking hose or whatever you did 15 years ago. Fraz, I don't know about you. I've never heard of this T Bar dude, but that was harsh, man. Like that was
Yeah,
just holy.
for
Okay,
sure.
so again, T Bar fires at him, and then after T Bar does that, it catches the attention of Randy Orton, and the only thing basically Randy said to start off this conversation was nothing but a explicit ass, the B word. Again, this is a family friendly channel. We don't swear on here, as I just said the A word for some people that might be swearing. I don't know. And Fraz, I don't know about you. I think the only way that Soldier Boy could mess up Randy Orton is I don't know, maybe with like a gun, something like that. It's not wrestling. Um, but Soldier seems to disagree. He says, "Do you know who the f I am? I'll bring the real to wrestling. Don't play with me, Randy Orton." That's I read the tweet just how it was. So Fraz, reading this tweet and seeing all these tweets, like, is there any possibility we've seen a lot? Could we see like I don't know, like a boxing match between these two? Like, is there a possibility for that?
I don't know about that. I mean, I see a lot of people diss the WWE for it being fake, and Randy Orton just saw this one and definitely took advantage of it, and got a little bit upset. I mean, this is the business he's in. Sorry, and he wants to be proud of that. So I'm glad Randy Orton stuck up for the WWE and was able to make his point across to him.
Now here's the thing, like, yeah, the WWE, it's fixed. Obviously, for our whole childhood, we went along with it. Oh, wonder who's gonna win next stuff. No, they already know who's gonna win. But as far as a physical standpoint, and we'll get to it in a little bit, like a good example, that it's definitely real. Throwing yourself around. The only thing that isn't real probably is the punches. I would say. Uh, but like just from a physical standpoint, the game is definitely not fake. It's 100% real. People just throw themselves all over the place. Yeah, yeah, and a perfect example right here. Um, is Bobby Lashley, who actually I guess he was deemed or he won the WWE title not too long ago. I believe it was Sunday night. But he did an interview with Bleacher Report's Graham Matthews, and at 44 years old, for those of you who don't know who Bobby Lashley is, you can go look him up. He's a man of very few words. He he's a bigger guy, and excuse me. He said he says in this quote, "I know my career I don't have 10 to 15 years. I only have a few years left. My body has been able to take the abuse I've given it, but I know time is almost up. Just recently, like I just mentioned, he submitted The Miz to win the WWE title. The 44-year-old has now secured a spot in WrestleMania set to take place this summer. So, Fraz, I want you to go in the mind of a WWE superstar. You could even go along the lines of a UFC superstar as well. How much of a factor do you think the fans play in the you know, just the atmosphere of wrestling or UFC?
Yeah, a lot of these guys haven't really seen anything like this. I mean, nobody has seen anything like that has happened, in 2020 with COVID, and it really screwed up the WWE with not having any fans. I feel like the fans really make WWE the way it is, after a huge slam or whatever. A lot of the crowd reacts and it's really loud. And I think that's what Bobby Lashley's talking about when he says that. Um, a few years left. He doesn't know. I don't think he thinks that fans will be coming back very soon. So, it's taken a toll on him and also the other wrestlers. So, I think Bobby Lashley's, yeah, giving it a few years left and he'll be out of here.
Yeah, and he's a real quiet guy. He's been around for a while. From what I remember when I was little, I believe he was in NXT, and I was like, holy crap, this dude is big. Um, but but yeah, me and Fraz were supposed to go along with some other friends. We were actually supposed to go to a WWE event in the winter. We were planning it, and then COVID shut it down. Um, I yeah, this has just been crazy. Not only for just the world of wrestling, boxing, the fighting world per se. The effect has been crazy. I've heard players say it all over the different leagues. It's definitely affected the NBA, the NFL, who has had some fans we saw in the Super Bowl, um, but definitely has played a role here. Let's move on to our next story. We're actually kind of zipping through these a lot faster. I think we're definitely going to have a shorter stream today, which is okay, but we're going to cover a lot in this short amount of time. Um, Lloyd Pierce, the Atlanta Hawks head coach, was fired. I believe this past was it or yesterday he was fired. Um, the team made the decision and is not seeking a replacement right away. They're actually going to hire the the excuse me the assistant coach for them right now. His name is Nate McMillan, and he's not new to being a head coach in the NBA. He's head coach for actually 16 seasons, which you'd think if he was 16 seasons, he'd be a head coach still. Um, I'm trying not to say that much, but it's not really working out for me. He's coached for the Supersonics, which is now the Thunder, Trailblazers, and Pacers, and he has a record of 667 and 591, which is just above 500. Um, but the current state of the team right now is no bueno. The team is currently 14-20 going into All Star Weekend. Their record isn't the only problem. The team is suffering in multiple injuries. The team has the young star Trey Young, who is an amazing player. They've signed a ton of vets to surround him, who are all hurt. That Chris Dunn being one of them. He hasn't even played a game this season. Danilo Gallinari has missed 9 games. Rajon Rondo has also missed some games. And the biggest injury right now for them probably is DeAndre Hunter, who recently had knee ending or season-ending surgery on his knee. Hunter was a great compliment for that Young and Collins tandem. John Collins in the Hawks' offensive attack, which clearly was working, but not so much on the defensive question. With all these injuries, uh, this raises a lot of questions about the Hawks. And to bring us in for those questions, that's going to be Brandon, hooping news and updates. Brandon, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
What's going
What's up,
on?
Matt?
What's up, Brandon?
Hey, You know what, Fraz? You're irrelevant. Like I don't even need you for this story.
Get me
Yeah,
out of
you're
here.
gone. Get out of here.
See ya.
Oh wait, no, no. Get. I mean, leave. Yeah, I just want to talk to you about this, Brandon, because you're really our basketball guru here.
There you go.
Um, so with the new hiring of the coach and with all these injuries going on, is there still a chance that the Hawks can make a run after All Star break?
Well, they have the talent. They have a lot of talent, but I want to bring up an even bigger point. The Atlanta Hawks, they were done the minute they traded Luca in the draft for Trey Young. Trey Young's a great player and all, but I think he's overrated. And Luca,
A
they had
generational talent.
Luca, man. They drafted Luca, but they traded him to Dallas. The minute that happened, they were done. Um, as for Lloyd Pierce, I thought his X's and O's weren't that good. And listen, man, Nate McMillan. I know people shit on his play. Excuse me. I know people crap on his playoff record. My bad. But he's a great regular season coach. You know what I mean? He's a tremendous coach in the regular season. His teams always play hard. His teams win a lot of games, and he does a lot in the regular season. He has gotten swept the last two times as a head coach in the playoffs. That's why he was fired from the Pacers because his team got swept. But the Pacers were never healthy. But I also think the general manager should be fired because train a guy like Luka Doncic gets you fired. You know what I mean? Those are the type of moves that get you fired. And that's no disrespect to Trey Young. And by the way, on my YouTube channel, man, Hawk fans hate me. Like Hawk fans hate me so much. They're like they despise me. But Trey Young's a good player and all, but not he ain't Luka Doncic. And
Yeah.
if the Hawks had Luka right now, they'd be way better than what they are. And that's my opinion on it. Lloyd Pierce, I mean, he to me, he's kind of an assistant coach to me. But you could say about a lot of coaches in the NBA, like Luke Walton, for example. I think he should get fired. I don't think he's a good coach at all. And then who's that other guy? That Terry Stotts in Portland. I don't think he's that good of a coach either. I think he just gets bailed out by Damian Lillard. So, I mean, Atlanta, man, you know what I mean? They need to make some roster changes. Obviously, Rondo, to me, that wasn't a good signing. And Billy, you left this part out. There are rumors. I like how you brought up John Collins. There's rumors at the trade deadline they're going to trade John Collins
Oh, jeez. Uh,
because they gave Gallinari a lot of money and he plays the same position as Collins. And Collins rejected a $96 million contract extension before the season started. So they're looking to move him. And so we're gonna have to see how the Hawks play out, man. But their future as of right now is uncertain. And that has a lot to do with to me, them trading Luca for Trey Young. It's just not a move you make. You don't make that move.
yeah. Again, we're gonna talk about Luca here in a second. He's a generational talent. You can see. This is no shade. To the Mavericks. They're not a crazy good team surrounding him, and we know that. But he's making it work there over there in Dallas.
I will say this.
What's
Can I
that?
speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Poor Porzingis is the factor for Dallas.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Porzingis is never healthy. That's their issue. Porzingis was healthy, the Mavericks would be a title contender, but he's never healthy. So that takes the Mavericks out of the discussion.
Yeah, and I think one of the you mentioned it yourself. You said that McMillan wasn't he got swept two times in the playoffs, but that team was hurt all the time. Right now, again, I mentioned it not too long ago. This team is in pretty big injury trouble at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Gallinari's out. Um, Dunn hasn't played a game this season. You have DeAndre Hunter's out for the year, and now if you're thinking about trade, I mean, who knows? It could be a good move with Collins, but we don't know. Collins is a great player. Very underrated.
Beast.
Yeah, he's really good. And then you have obviously you have Trey Young, who again, no shade. I also
Mm,
agree he's a bit overrated.
I'm not
Um,
sold.
yeah, neither am I. But Luca, you could definitely say we're sold on Luca, and I think Luca
Absolutely.
he could go down as one of the best to ever do it because he has his size, he has that playmaking factor to
Here,
it, and he
you
can
want
also attack very well.
to hear a hot take?
What's that?
I think Luka can be a top 5 player of all time when it's all said and done.
I agree. The dude's a stud.
because because I'm taking in fact of what he did over in Euro League too. Luca dominated over in Europe too. And if he dominates the NBA, wins a couple MVPs, wins a couple championships, I think Luca has a real chance to be top 5 all time.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and we'll transition right into it with Luca here. He recently just had a rookie card. Now, there's been a lot of Top Shot cards. Fraz, I'll bring you back in for this one. Um, there's been a lot of Top Shot cards, which I believe are virtual cards, going for a lot. This is a real one of one card, and it sold for $4.6 million. Like that's a ton. Now let me give you a little backstory on this card. Despite again being an amazing player on the court, a one of one, which means that, excuse me, this specific card, this rookie card, there's only one. There's only one in the entire world. No other ones have been made. I believe there was a jersey patch. The pen that was used to sign the card was a very rare pen. It's a little weird. I'm not really sure how it works there. The card was pulled out of a 2018-19 Panini National Treasures pack. I wish I was able to pull up the video. I wasn't able to download it. If you look it up, there was a live reaction of the pull. Now, it's important to note that this card did not originally sell for 4.6 million, and it's not from the original owner. Um, the car was originally sold for $400,000 to an independent buyer,
Mm-hmm.
but then it was resold weeks later for $4.6 million. Now, Brandon,
Smart business.
yeah, you mentioned that he could be a top 5 player when it's all said and done. Really good player. Even though this guy spent $4.6 million on this card, do you actually think that there could be some added value to this card because of how good he played?
Absolutely. I think in 20 years that card can be worth like 25, 30 million.
Yeah.
Because Luca, man, I'm telling you what, man, this dude is unreal. Like Luca has everything. He can shoot, he can rebound, he can pass, he can literally. And Luca is one of like most humble guys in the NBA, so he's easy to market off. And he's a great player, man. Dirk was a power forward to me. Luca's like a shooting guard version of Dirk. You know what I mean? Not terms of play style. I'm talking about like terms of that their personalities and stuff because their personalities are very similar. And honestly, when it's all said and done, man, I think Luca could be right there with all the greats, man. And that guy, whoever bought that car for 400,000, sold for 4 million, bro. Like, man, that's just smart business,
Oh,
straight up,
he's a
smart business.
swear to God, he's a businessman for sure. Fred, you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I used to collect baseball cards when I was like 7 years old, and I just remember this Honus Wagner card was the highest card ever sold at $3.12 million, and you were talking about how, you know, uh, the price can go up. Luca is still playing in the NBA, and the card is $4.6 million. That can ease if he wins 2 championships, 2 MVPs. That card will be at Brandon's number. What he said. I mean, it's just a fact, and the fact that like Honus Wagner's cards is only at 3.12 is ridiculous, and somebody that guy's gonna make a lot of money if he holds on to it.
Yeah, it's just unreal. Like Brandon said, that's a businessman right there. Selling a card for buying a card, investing almost $500,000 alone is a crazy investment. Now maybe looking at the guy who bought it for 4.6 million, like
He'll
I don't know,
benefit long.
He'll
yeah,
benefit in the
like
long
5
run.
years from now, 10 years from now,
He'll benefit in the long
yeah,
run
go holy crap, I could sell this thing for two
if
or
he
three
plays his
million
cards right.
dollars more. Yeah, I mean he just has to play good, and
Mm-hmm.
that's so here's another crazy thing to note. So Fraz mentioned that Honus Wagner card actually was the most expensive sports card to ever be sold. It was like three. What would you say? Like 3 point.
3.12 million.
Yeah, so 3.12 million. Okay, so there's another collection where there's this rookie player collection cards. I actually did a little bit of research on this. The first oh my god, I cannot talk. The first rookie card that went for over 100 grand. They're all basketball. was
Mhm.
Michael Jordan's rookie card. Michael Jordan's rookie card went for 145 grand. And then about 10, 15 years later, LeBron James Cavaliers rookie card sold for about 250 grand. And then a Shaquille O'Neal card sold for about 275. And then this Luka Doncic card sold for 400.
I
And
will
then, what's that?
just let me make this point real quick, then you can continue. Can you imagine if the MJ rookie car was sold today?
Oh man, whew,
Just
that
get just guess the number. Just
yeah, I think
the
whoever's holding
number.
on to it right now, it would be a good idea to maybe find a buyer. Maybe the guy who just bought this card for 4.6 million is interested. Um, but and then the crazy thing is that so the original card, like the 400 grand transaction, was actually not actually was made like 2 weeks before this, and then this past Sunday, the guy just multiplied his money and sold the card for 4.6 million, which is absolutely crazy. So we're at the half an hour mark here, and I think this is actually a good place to stop on the Luka Doncic thing, which again is
Hmm.
still unreal, like that even happened. Let's move on to our last story here. Um, yeah, you're right, Fraz. Fraz just texted me and said we got to take a brief pee break. Uh, I I think it's time we take a pee break. Okay, I'm back from my pee break. Sorry, it took forever. I just pee a lot, you know. So the final thing we're gonna oh boy, everybody's gonna make fun of me for that one. Oh jeez. The last thing we're gonna be talking about today. Yep, everybody's. Oh boy. That's not gonna go well. NFL free agency news is gonna be the last thing we're talking about today. I promise I'm not blushing. It might be the lighting. So let's just talk about a few things here. Obviously, JJ Watt goes to Arizona. If you looked at your phone recently, you would have saw it that JJ Watt goes to Arizona. He goes on a deal. Excuse me. JJ Watt goes on a deal. I'm trying to find it on my screen. I can't. There it is. The 31 years old for a multi-purpose edge rusher, and uh, this is a lot of money we're talking about here. I believe it was a 2-year, $31 million deal, and he got 23 of that guaranteed. It's just unreal. Again, this isn't no 5-year deal. This is 2 years, and it's just crazy. So the first person I want to talk about this with, who is late. He sucks, but at least he's here. Is Mikey? Mikey, what's up?
What's up, guys?
It's just me,
What's up,
so it's
dude?
not guys.
Shut,
It's just Billy. You
shut up.
idiot.
I know. Just shut up.
Yeah,
Just shut
okay.
up.
So, Mike, obviously, the word got around. JJ
Yeah.
Watt is now an Arizona Cardinal. Now, this team obviously needed help on defense, but was this the right move for the Arizona Cardinals?
Honestly, I don't think it was. I feel like their best choice of what they could have done with that 32 million, I think that's what it was, is they should have signed some different offensive linemen because I have no clue. I don't know anybody on that offensive line, and I know most people in the NFL. I've heard at least heard of their names, and if I look at their roster, I don't know anybody on that offensive line.
Yeah, I could probably again, that defense does need help for sure. But that offensive line, from what I remember, isn't too great. They're not doing too well. That 31 million for a 31-year-old is a lot.
That's a
Now
lot of.
don't
It's
get me
way too
wrong.
much.
Don't get me wrong. JJ Watt, hell of a player. He's really good. But the problem is like he's 31 years old, and I'm gonna be honest. After this 2-year deal, I think he's done. I mean, unless he proves like he still got it, like low key, like in the defensive player of the year running the next 2 years, which he hasn't been. But if he proves he still got it, you have to remember this. JJ, believe it or not, is injury prone. I think I mentioned this on a past stream. He's a bigger guy, and he most likely will not play 16 7 what is it 16 games a season.
Yeah, 16 games.
Yeah, so I don't really know if you're getting your money's worth. Is this a good move? I don't know. Let's get Fraz's opinion on this. Fraz, was this a good move by the Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, I actually want to ask you guys this question real quick before I answer it. But do you think this could be a playoff team and potentially a Super Bowl team
Mike,
right now
go
as we
ahead.
speak with JJ?
Hmm?
Mike, go ahead.
All right. So I do not think it is. Especially because their offensive line. That's the one thing that they need, like I said before.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that, Mike. I don't think JJ Watt has the potential to, you know, be like he was when he was 5 years ago, but he's definitely going to help the team. I think they will be a playoff team. I think they'll win a game in the playoffs, but I don't think they can make a run for a championship of any source.
Yeah, this is a young team that I'm going to be honest, I think it's currently in a rebuilding phase to a certain extent. This is a young team. You made a very good trade with probably a top 3 receiver in the NFL. That's a good start. Kyler Murray, I don't know if he's the ideal quarterback for the next 5 years to come. I don't know if that's really I don't know if oh my god, I cannot talk today. If he's really their guy. I think he has a ton of value, and I think that's the problem. These younger guys, I think the Browns are going to be in the same situation. You got a lot of young guys who are really darn good at football, and the problem is that you're going to have to pay them, and the problem becomes, well, they're going to be too expensive. So I think that they're going to be in that situation. Kyler, I think they'll obviously pay Kyler when the time comes, unless Kyler, tears his ACL, blah blah blah, doesn't return to the same player that he is. But from my standpoint, I'm not sure if this might be a wild card team. I don't know if JJ Watt alone. I mean, again, there's a difference. An outside linebacker is pretty much a strict edge rusher. They already have that in Chandler Jones. JJ Watt, if you watch him against the Steelers game, he actually played a lot like inside. He wasn't an edge rusher, which is what he was known for. He was deadly as an edge rusher. They already have that in Chandler Jones. I don't really see this JJ Watt signing being a crazy signing as far as like a market standpoint, this is a great signing. This is a guy who we talked about for all offseason and Deshaun Watson wherever he goes. This was a great signing. And I think that was in as far as a market standpoint was in Arizona's best interest because they have the space right now.
Yeah.
But like Mike said, this team could have used that money for a lot more. And so let's just move away from the topic of JJ Watt. A lot of stuff happened under the table that not a lot of people have talked about. The next thing being Alex Smith has been released from the Washington football team, the starting quarterback. And now there's a lot of questions that raises, and I'll bring in Brandon here too. There's a lot of questions that are now raised in Washington. You have Taylor Heineke. I'm just gonna be
Mhm.
honest. That's it. That's all you have is Taylor Heineke. And Mike, I'll start with you. Mike, cutting Alex Smith, getting trading away what's his name to us? Why can I
Dwayne
not?
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins. Thank you, Brandon. Trading away Dwayne Haskins. Are we going to see a big move here from the football team as far as free agency goes?
Honestly, I could see um, the Redskins picking up. Uh,
The Redskins? Did you just say the Redskins?
that's their name,
I'm gonna No, no,
but
no. It's the football team. You're gonna get canceled for that. I'll make sure of it. But
but
go ahead.
um, I honestly could see them trying to get either a quarterback in the draft because that's the only thing that they really need on their team, except for maybe a linebacker or two. But then if they're going to go into free agency, if they trade for, I mean, they could try and get Russell Wilson, which I know has said that he wants out. And then Deshaun Watson has also said he wants out. So either any of those two quarterbacks would probably be a pretty good trade for him.
Yeah. I'll let you two go first. Brandon, what do you think? Is there a big move coming here from the football team?
I would have to imagine so because Taylor Heineke's he played very well against Tampa Bay, but my thing is I have questions about him, especially like when teams start to get film on him because a lot of quarterbacks look good after one game when the team doesn't have any film on you. But the question is when teams watch film, are they you know what I mean? Like is he still gonna you know what I mean, like put up the same production? And I think Russell Wilson would be a great fit with Washington. I love that fit. The defense is amazing. They can't waste the defense, man. Their defense is elite. They cannot waste that defense. So if I was them, I'd make a big move and go get Russell Wilson. And I would also say the same thing for the Chicago Bears. They that team also needs to make a big move for a quarterback. So I look at Washington, Chicago as the two teams that need to trade everything they possibly can to go get either Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson.
I could sort of agree, but for Fraz, what do you think? What are you thinking?
I think the football team needs two things. That's a quarterback and a wide receiver. I saw a lot of mock drafts. I was looking, and Mac Jones is a potential quarterback for the football team. And I really think Mac Jones can work with the football team with their playbook. You know, with Alex Smith the whole season, more of a pocket passer. Mac Jones is more of a pocket passer, and I think they can really work with him. I hope they get him because I do want to see the football team do good, even though they've been so bad for so long. I want to see what they can do. Got Terry McLaurin uh, as a wideout. Need one more, but their defense is solid. Great corners. Chase Young is had a great rookie season, and I personally think they're a playoff team, and uh, can potentially be a championship team.
Yeah, excuse me. I agree 100% as far as the championship thing goes. Again, they're a long way to go. Their
Yeah.
defense is there. I could compare this team to probably the one year where the Steelers went 8-8 and still made the playoffs. I think that's a very good comparison. But I agree with Zach here. I agree. I think they're gonna get Cam Newton. That's a reasonable target. Now listen, Cam Newton proved in New England he might not have it anymore, but this is a reasonable signing. Cam's not really looking for a ton of money. However, he still can throw the ball. He's valid. I just said he's valid. Like what? Um, he still is a valued quarterback as far as throwing the ball. But again, there's a lot of ifs in this situation. If the football team goes after a quarterback in the draft, Mac Jones, if Trey Lance falls, which he's definitely not going to, are they still going to go after a quarterback in free agency? Because again, Brandon brings up a great point. Taylor Heineke played pretty darn good against the Buccaneers. A guy who was doing office work and got a call from the coach saying, "Hey, you want to play a playoff game? Sure, coach." Like that's a weird scenario, and the fact that he just came in played like that is amazing. But he does bring up a lot of questions. This is a guy that nobody's even heard of, never seen on film. So this is a guy that teams couldn't really game plan for and
Hmm.
didn't know what he really brought to the table. And I totally agree with Brandon that I don't know if Heineke's ready. There's still a ton of questions. I'm rooting for him. I like Heineke. I think his different play style, being able to move and actually having a decent arm was nice. But again, there's a lot of ifs, and that's why I think this NFL draft is so interesting because there's so many outcomes. There's so many. Well, this team needs this and this team needs that, and then there's a lot of players on free agency that are still like legit and that could definitely make an impact on a team. Let's move on to another thing. Antonio Brown might be retiring.
Hmm.
He put out a very weird tweet on Twitter, which I'm going to pull up. I'm going to see if I can find it. Um, he basically said that football might not be in his best interest at the moment. I'm going to get a direct quote from Antonio Brown here. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. My browser is just being very dumb. Antonio Brown tweet. let me see if I can find it here. It was very recent as well. Um, did he delete it? There's no way he deleted it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Bill. But honestly, if you're saying he wanted to, retire, I don't see a reason why he shouldn't. He just won a Super Bowl. He was chasing that the entire time. So,
I have a
I can definitely agree with his decision on retiring.
I have a question to ask all three of you. If Antonio Brown retires today since he got a Super Bowl, is he a Hall of Famer? Yes or no?
Uh,
No,
we
for
were
everything that
talking
No.
happened, no.
about this the other day with Mr. Barat. I'm not sure. Now here's the problem with the NFL Hall of Fame and the committee. Um, I'm not. They take a lot of account into their off the field, and it's not in a good way. Like if you won Man of the Year, like they're not talking about that. They're talking about what you like did in a negative way, and that's why it kind of took a while even for like players like Randy Moss. That's why, in my opinion, Chad Ochocinco is still not in the Hall of Fame because
And
this is
Terrell
a
Owens.
yeah, Terrell Owens as well. Two really good players, especially. I mean, I'm just going to focus on Chad Ochocinco here. Dude literally turned around the whole Bengals organization, still leads the team organization in catches, yards, stuff like that. And really should be in the Hall of Fame. But unfortunately, of his domestic violence charges, stuff like that, he is not in the Hall of Fame. And personally, it's not fair. Well, I guess it is fair that a player should be punished because of something horrible like that. But I don't think teams should really just focus on that. And to be honest, like again, this is a really good player. Chad Ochocinco changed the game of receiver forever. Really put a staple in the route running, all that good stuff. I cannot find the Antonio Brown tweet. He
He might
might
have
have
deleted
deleted
it.
it. He might have deleted it. I'm gonna keep
Probably.
scrolling here, but yeah, he basically said, he basically said, like football might not be in my best interest, and honestly, I would agree. For whoever said, I think it was Fraz. I think this might be a good spot to retire. Obviously, AB to start off his career in Pittsburgh, outstanding. I still think that AB could be one of the best Steelers, if not the best Steeler to ever play, if he would have had a clean career and stayed in Pittsburgh the entire time. Maybe even like top three to ever receiver. Like this dude was really good. Like despite being short and all that,
He
he
can do
was really
everything.
good. He could do everything.
Short routes, deep routes, medium routes, whatever you want to call a route, he can run it.
He definitely could. And obviously, from throwing gummy worms at his wife to throwing couches off of balconies, all kinds of crazy stuff. Um, just not really a good track record. I think the whole Oakland, New England thing definitely did not help. Obviously, he had a touchdown in New England, but who cares about that? Again, just a lot of stuff just not going his way. Well, it's his fault, so who cares if it doesn't go in his way? Um, yeah, so I think it's going back to the Hall of Fame thing. I think there's still a possibility that he could be a Hall of Famer. Nowhere near first ballot because of all that stuff that happened. But I think there's definitely a chance. But definitely Antonio Brown. This could be the end of the road for for Antonio Brown. Mike, I'll ask you too. Do you think AB should stop right here?
I mean, wait, how old is Antonio Brown again, Billy?
Um,
Old.
he's not young. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Here,
I
I
let
think
me
he's
I
look
like
it
just
up.
I
31 or
forget what
30.
if he's 31 or 30 at receiver. If he can still produce, I mean,
He's
we have.
32.
It
Oh,
depends on how if he plays next year and does like good. I'd say play another season if your body can take it, and if or not even if these guys that are in the NFL right now that are older, like Tom Brady, um, Frank Gore, Larry Fitz, these guys have been in the NFL for a pretty damn long time, and they they have barely went down in production except for Frank Gore, because I mean he really didn't start in the, I think New York, but
Yeah, the Jets.
yeah, I mean right now a bunch of old players are actually playing pretty good.
And
So
I think it's just like again, we talked about this with Mr. Broad. The game has changed so much. You have new technology. You have all this new stuff, new rules, especially the NFL. Shut up. The NFL is very soft. Uh, I think the game is now washed. I don't really like how the NFL plays now. You can't even tackle a quarterback anymore. Uh,
Mm-mm.
Sideline penalties are very more like you get a flag basically every time, especially if they're quarterbacks. So I think players, not just even specifically talking about receivers, more so talking about I think quarterbacks really. I think that these rules, these implications, this technology really just expands these players' timelines. Obviously depends on the circumstances, but it really expands players' careers by like a whole like 5 years. Like no joke, like 5 years. I think seriously think Tom Brady is still in peak condition. He's still obviously he has some nicks here and there, but I still think Tom Brady could if he really wanted to could play for another. Oh, that stupid dog. I think he could play for another 5 years.
50.
Fit,
50.
yeah, I think
I
even.
mean,
He's
if
gonna be
he,
50 in 5 years.
Oh no,
yeah,
I thought you
I,
meant. I thought you meant another 50 years of football. Jesus Christ. Um,
Honestly, if he keeps throwing the ball like how he is in the playoffs, I mean, I could see it.
well, I don't
bro,
know. The
bro, if he
Green Bay
plays
game.
football, if he
Green
plays
Bay game,
football
you
for
play that
50
good.
years, I could see if he actually is in the NFL in 50 years, dude's gonna be in a casket playing football.
Yeah, he'll be
Like,
Oh,
throwing
I'm gonna
from his
be
Billy,
grave.
honest.
that
He's
Yeah.
like
Scotty Miller
what,
touchdown was one of the
45
best passes I've
right now,
ever
44.
seen. Literally,
But
you can't even ask for anything better.
repeat that for us.
I said that toss to Scotty Miller in the Green Bay game was one of the best throws I've ever
Yeah, he
seen him
made
red
he
back.
made up for it. That Green Bay game was a crap hole, and
Yeah.
Mike probably doesn't like me talking about it because he's a Green Bay fan. But both sides, that was just, that was
How do
Well,
not
you
a
kick
good
a
show.
field goal there? I'll never
Yeah, I don't
understand that.
understand
How
that
do you kick
either.
a field goal?
yeah. My only question is who runs cover one man in I think it was like fourth and long.
Yeah, that was the pass to Scotty. Why would you why
Why would you run cover one man?
yeah, why would you run cover one there? I have which cover one for those of you who don't know is one safety back, which is one player deep basically, and every man for himself everywhere else matched up mano y mano. And I don't yeah, I agree. I don't know if that was in the Packers' best interest.
I mean,
That's why
Excuse me.
The Packers are a man coverage team though. So I mean, if they at least should have ran either cover, they should have ran cover two. That's
Yeah, that's the
probably the best one.
safest defense. We're gonna move on to another story. So we talked about it last time. Teddy Bridgewater wants out a team that is a Trey Lance, a landing spot possibility. But there is new rumors now that Teddy Bridgewater talked to San Francisco. It is very intrigued in San Francisco. Brandon, we'll start with you.
hmm
What was Jimmy Garoppolo really that big of an issue for the 49ers? Like, do they need a quarterback that bad?
I mean, what it comes down to with Jimmy G is health. He's never healthy. And Teddy Bridgewater's the same way. He's never healthy either. If you ask me who's better talent wise, Teddy Bridgewater or Jimmy Garoppolo, I'd probably say Jimmy Garoppolo. He could throw the ball a little better than Teddy Bridgewater. But the biggest thing with Garoppolo is he's never healthy. It's like one injury after another, and at that, especially at the quarterback position, you can't rely on a guy that's injured all the time. You just can't do it. He's too injury prone.
Yeah, I agree. Jimmy can play football. He's proved it a few times. Um, but both are really very injury prone. Now, Teddy's concussion, his infamous concussion, uh, that was a little bit dirty. Yeah, it's an
Yes.
injury that he shouldn't have got, but still, you gotta. They're not strong. It's just to be honest. especially for Teddy, it doesn't work out that well. Jimmy's more of a pocket passer, which I just mentioned. The game is evolving, so you can't even like tackle quarterbacks anymore. But as far as like Teddy goes, he's considered a somewhat of a mobile quarterback. I guess you could say he's more of an improviser type deal. He's not really like Lamar, who sits in the pocket for a second and a half, doesn't see anything and runs. He's more like a dual threat in that sense, and I think that it just that's the only way quarterbacks really are vulnerable now is just if they run the ball, and that doesn't really work out well for quarterback. I mean, it's worked for Lamar. Obviously, he hasn't really got hurt much. But Fraz, we'll go to you next. San Francisco, Teddy Bridgewater. Is this a good mix here?
Well, let's just say first that I thought San Francisco was going to go for a quarterback in the in the draft, and a lot
That's
of
true.
mock drafts are saying Trey Lance to the 49ers. If they make this, Trey Lance will definitely not be drafted to the 49ers for the sole
Nope.
fact that Teddy Bridgewater is not like a guy to look at. He's not like a Eli Manning or Ben Roethlisberger, stuff like that. If he gets traded to the 49ers, we're gonna be looking at a different pick for their team in the 2021 draft.
Yeah, and I think again a ton of ifs. It all comes down to what Carolina is going to do. I think Teddy's definitely gone. I don't see him staying in
And
Carolina.
I'll add this too. Carolina, man, they're gonna do whatever it takes to get Deshaun Watson. Any pick, any player that Houston wants, Carolina's gonna give it to him.
Yeah, they'll. I think there's a few teams that will give up. Like I saw reports that there's a possibility that they would even go as far as to give up Christian McCaffrey for
Anybody.
Deshaun Watson. They would give up anybody for Deshaun Watson, which is unheard of. And if the offer was ever there, there was no doubt that you can't reject that offer. So let's move on. There's a couple more topics I want to talk about. Um, we talked about him earlier. Russell Wilson was in headlines. Obviously, he didn't actually ask out, but he told reports that he would consider trades, and one of those trades was New Orleans, and the mayor of New Orleans got involved. You could go on Twitter and look. Literally the mayor of New Orleans put out a video and basically told Russ that him and his beautiful wife could live in infamy here in New Orleans. And Seattle's mayor did not like that at all. Both females, by the way, so they're gonna get a little feisty here. Both their Seattle's mayor was very ticked off by this and said, "No, this is Russ's home in Seattle. He's not going anywhere." Real quick, Mikey, is there any possibility that that Russell Wilson leaves Seattle?
Well, I honestly I do. I want to see him in a different place. I mean, he wants to get out. I don't blame him. He has good targets, but I guess their just coaching staff isn't as good as what he wants, and he's not getting as much of a say in the offense as he should have because he's the one out there leading it the whole time, like through everything. So I could see him getting either I could see him getting traded, but it would have to be a very very big deal just to
Yeah,
get it. It would either have to save the it would have to be either a couple high first round draft picks, or and a player, or yeah.
yeah, and I'm gonna leave it at that for that. Also, that could bring up points where like Drew Brees could possibly like they New Orleans might not want him to stay. They might literally cut him because it's so locked down over there. Like, why would it make sense to keep both of them? Guys, thank you for coming in today. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Great job, all of you. You all did a great job. Just a few things to talk about. We will be back here live Thursday afternoon, 6 p.m. Make sure you come and watch. I think today, for the numbers that we thought we were gonna have compared to what we did have, I think today actually went really well. I think we did a good job today with the guys we had with Mikey, Brandon, Fraz. All did really well. And again, share this with your friends. Make sure you like and subscribe. And We'll see you guys later. Oh, wrong button. Sorry. We'll see you guys later.